What is up, Print Squad? I am back with another video, and today I am going to be trying to answer a question left by Craft Avenue Creations. The question was, how do I I'm gonna paraphrase, but basically, how do I set up my screens when I'm burning them, so that, like when I'm burning multicolor designs, so that I don't have to do too much adjusting them on press. So I'm gonna try to answer that. How do I burn my screens to line up on press easy without having to do so much work? So I'm gonna try to answer that question, and if you're interested in the answer, just stay tuned. Okay, I'm in my dark room, and I don't actually have an order right now. This is actually a Sunday night after my live stream, and I'm just trying to kind of give you some instructions. So right here, I have these are the three different transparency films that I have. This is actually a 4-color job, but I'm just going to use the 3 to show you guys how I line everything up. So right here, I'm going to take the top off of my transparency, off of my heat press, and then I'm going to show you a couple things with that. Okay, the first thing I'm going to show you right here, this is my exposure unit. Okay, I have notches right here, and right here on the edges. Okay, so the way that I know that my glass is straight is by pushing it to the edge of these notches right here, and then I can see if I look all around, and even if I measure it, then I can tell that it's straight over there. So right here, I can push it up to here, to this notch, and I know that everything is straight going all the way around. Okay, so basically what I do is I make sure that my glass is up against these 2 notches, and depending on what size film I'm using, like the film that I'm going to be using in this video is 13 by 19, so I would push this to about here, and right here, the glass is about even with, you know, the end of the metal part right here, and then right here, this is, you know, open. You can lift the glass up. You can lift the glass up and see everything is open. So right here, it's even with that. So okay, this is how I do right here. Okay, so then the next thing I would do is I would take my first film that I'm going to use, and the way that I tell which film is going to be the first film that I use, like if you look at, I'm going to show you all 3 of these film, like right here, those 2 film and this film. Okay, I can use, the reason that I'm going to use this, and I'm saying that this is my first film right here, is because I can line everything up from this film. Like if you see this film, I have these plus marks on here, which I'm using for registration marks, so that I can line up everything. And right here, you can line this up with this film by by using the design, the actual design, and by using the plus marks that I have for registration marks. So you can line that up with that. And also this one, even though it only has a small part, you can line it up also with that film. Okay, it'll be a little bit harder to line this one up with this. You know, it's just slightly harder to line it up just using the artwork. So that's why I would use this one as film number 1. Okay, so I'm gonna take away these other 2, and then I'm gonna show you guys how I line it up and get everything in order. Okay, at this point right here, what I would do is right here, this is my screen. I mean, this is my film. Y'all know I say the wrong words. Right here, this is my film, and right here, this is the tape. So what I would do now is I would take this tape right here, and I would get 4 pieces of tape, 1 for each side. And I would take this tape, and the sticky side is on my finger right now, and I would put the sticky side on the bottom side of the film right here. But I would do it all along on the edges of the film. Right here, you can see where the old tape marks are, right here and right here. And I would put it on all of those, and then I would take the edge of this transparency film. Now it would have tape right here, and the tape would be hanging over. I wouldn't too much worry about that, but what I would do is take the edge of this film right here and line it up with the edge of that glass. And because of the way my press is made, if I have it over slightly, that too far that way or too far this way just slightly, it really won't matter much because I can slide my screen once it's on press. But what I do is I use this area down here to kind of measure it to see, you know, to try to get it centered. But as long as I have this lined up with the glass, everything should work out. So right here I have this lined up with the glass, and because I've done this many times before, I know that if I have this lined up with the glass right here, once I have this lined up with the glass, I would take my screen, and I'm gonna grab a screen right quick just to show you guys. Okay, I grabbed a 30 mesh screen because this is the only one that I have that does not, you know, that does not have any emulsion or anything. And so what I grab this screen right here, and I would take it and I would place this screen up against this little peg mark that I showed you earlier, and up against that one, and that way I know that I'm putting it on straight. So I place it on that first peg mark at the top, then I would slide it over on the other ones and I would drop it straight down. Okay, now that I have it straight down on here, around the edges right here, let me see if right here where the tape is at, I would rub this tape. I'll rub this tape and I'll rub this tape, which I usually rub it all around on 4 sides. And the one at the bottom is usually hanging off. So sometimes, you know, I have to make sure that all 3 of these are on good. And once I get all 3 of those on good, then I lift up my screen. And I didn't tape all the sides up, so it may not stick. But I would lift up my screen and it would usually be stuck on here, and I would tape the bottom one down. Okay, so I have it on here, and okay, I went back and I just went ahead and put the tape on all 4 sides, and it still may not work because I'm using a 30 mesh screen. So like I told you before, I line it up with the edge of the screen right here, like right here. I line the film up with the edge of the glass right there. And I make sure that the glass is lined up evenly against the back notch right here and over here. So now that I have all of that done, this is lined up. I take my screen and I put it down and I bump it up against that top notch, and then I bump it up against the side notch, so it is even in there. So now all I have to do is make sure that the tape sticks, and because this is a 30 mesh screen, the tape may not stick well. I think it's going to stick though. Okay, it's stuck on here, and now the bottom part right here, I would just smooth that tape down. So this is the first screen that's lined up, and now like I was telling you, this screen does not have emulsion on it right now. So because it doesn't have emulsion on it, you know, I'm just using this for an example. But right here, this is the first screen. I have it ready. So I would sit it down out of the way. Like, I'm just going to sit it right here, lean up against that. Okay, now I would take screen number 2, or film number 2, not screen number 2. And I would put the tape on all 4 sides of it. And while I'm doing this whole thing, I make sure not to move the glass. You know, I keep the glass in the same spot. That's the only way that this is going to work, because I do not have a registration system. They do sell those, but they're a bit expensive. I mean, they work and they're probably worth the money, but if I can do it this way, I'm going to do it this way. Okay, so I lined that one up with that. Now I will take my other screen and I will bump it up against that top notch, and then bump it up against the edge and lay it flat down. Okay, so now make sure that everything is sticking, and it didn't stick that time, so I'm gonna go back. Sometimes with these 30 mesh screens, it's hard to get the tape to stick. Alright, so I'm gonna kind of slide it over here just because it wasn't sticking well, to try to get it to stick. Okay, now once I get it to stick on here, that's it right there.
Okay, and now the next step would be to take the screens to your press, and they should be pretty much lined up. They may not be exactly centered. You may have to slide the screen to the left or right when you put them into the screen slots onto your press. But right here, what I'm basically trying to do is let you guys see how close it is lined up. So right here, as you see, you know, you shouldn't have to do too much adjusting. I have the screens kind of stacked on top of each other, and as you see, if you move it over to the right slightly, if you look right there, everything should be lined up pretty much perfectly. So this is basically how I do it, and hopefully this is not too confusing and helps you guys out. But the next step would be just to take it to your press and put them on there and make sure that everything is registered correctly, so that when you begin printing, everything is lined up in a neat way and all of your colors match up without much space in between.
Okay, so hopefully that wasn't too confusing and they helped you guys out. But this is the way that I do my screens to line them up, because I do not have a registration system. They sell the registration systems that help you do it maybe easier. I don't know, because I don't own one. But if this should work for you if you can do it in a way similar. You may not have the same exact equipment that I have, but it should work. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video and it helped you out, be sure to hit that thumbs up button. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you're not in the Print Squad group, go ahead and look down below for the link, because you're missing out on a lot if you're not in that group. We do so many things over there and have a good time, so y'all be sure to check out that link. Also check for the links down below if you're interested in any of the products or equipment that I use to make t-shirts. And I will see you guys in the next video. Print Squad out.